Oh, sending data. Sending data. We love to see it. There we go. And we are live again. We're going live every single day of 2026. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. If you want to support the channel, become a member. If you want to throw in some super chats, throw in a super chat. Let us see what King Charles is delivering to the Congress. Might as well, right? Might as well. Today is going to be an amazing day. I hope you understand that. I hope you do experience that. Let's check it out.
In the immediate aftermath of 9/11, when NATO invoked Article 5 for the first time, and the United Nations Security Council was united in the face of terror, we answered the call together, as our people have done so for more than a century, shoulder to shoulder, through 2 world wars, the Cold War, Afghanistan, and moments that have defined our shared security. Today, Mr. Speaker, that same unyielding resolve is needed for the defense of Ukraine and her most courageous people.
There you go.
It is needed in order to secure a truly just and lasting peace. From the depths of the Atlantic to the disastrously melting ice caps of the Arctic, the commitment and expertise of the United States Armed Forces and its allies lie at the heart of NATO, pledged to each other's defense, protecting our citizens and interests, keeping North Americans and Europeans safe from our common adversaries. Our defense, intelligence, and security ties are hardwired together through relationships measured not in years, but in decades. Today, thousands of US service personnel, defense officials and their families are stationed in the United Kingdom, as British personnel serve with equal pride across 30 American states. We are building F-35s together, and we have agreed the most ambitious submarine program in history, AUKUS.
Amazing. Hard to beat an awesome goat farm. How you doing, Nazi Merazici? What does Merhaba mean?
And we are doing it in partnership with Australia, a country of which I'm also immensely proud to serve as sovereign. We do not embark on these remarkable endeavors together out of sentiment. We do so because they build greater shared resilience for the future, so making our citizens safer for generations to come.
That's extremely important. Got to make the generations safer. That's something we ought to talk about, right? Absolutely. It's a smart move. Absolutely smart move. Exendu, do you have any data to back that up, man? That's a strong statement. Very strong statement. My goodness. And would you say that right in front of King Charles? Would you tell him that? Would you say, hey, this is what I think you are?
Shattered and their forces reduced to smoke. IRGC. 4:02 a.m., the Strait of Hormuz was shrouded in darkness until 12 unknown targets suddenly appeared on the radar.
Okay, you're saying he's a P3D0 protector. That's a little different. Oh, but that's somebody else. How you doing, Brutal Facts? Happy to have you in the chat.
Of the USS Spruance. There were only 47 seconds left before the collision that would shake the world. But Tehran had no idea they had just triggered something the US had kept hidden for so long. A massive retaliatory strike that turned the most sophisticated ambush in history into an unimaginable disaster for Iran. What really happened during those fateful 38 seconds? The Strait of Hormuz is the most sensitive lifeline of the global economy through which 20% of the world's oil worth trillions of dollars in liquid energy flows every day.
Yep.
Under the Trump administration's strategic blockade aimed at tightening the economic noose around Iran, the U.S. Navy has turned this waterway into an impenetrable steel wall. For the crew aboard the USS Spruance, an Arleigh Burke-class warship built by General Dynamics,
huge,
everything
massive.
began as a typical Tuesday. They glided through the hot, humid fog with quiet professionalism, enforcing a peace that Tehran is desperate to shatter. Over the past 72 hours, tensions had been simmering as Iran's Ghost Fleet continuously tested American reflexes with AIS, spoofing tactics, generating phantom signals on radar. Tehran was growing desperate, seeking a trump card to turn the tide. 4:05 a.m. The silence is shattered. A group of IRGC fast attack boats suddenly surges forward at 30 knots, charging straight toward the USS Spruance along a deadly vector. To deceive Lockheed Martin's Aegis system, they shut off their real AIS signals and spoofed themselves as neutral merchant ships. A calculated gamble. The stern warnings over Link 16 were met with cold silence. No acknowledgement, no change of course. 4:08 a.m. The fleet of boats charged forward, flouting every maritime rule. The countdown ticked away. They had exactly 4 minutes left before reaching the kill zone. Is
Jimmy
this a
Savile.
foolish mistake or a sophisticated trick to lure the U.S. into a larger trap? Bless their hearts. Tehran thinks they're playing chess on the open sea, but they've forgotten that the U.S. Navy dominates the digital battlefield, guided by the absolute precision of Aegis radar. 4:09 a.m. While the crew on the bridge of the USS Spruance was focused on the swarm of fast attack craft closing in on the surface, Lockheed Martin's Aegis combat system suddenly triggered an independent Level 1 red alert. This was no longer a simple surface engagement. 40 minutes earlier, mobile launchers hidden deep within the Musandam Peninsula had released a swarm of Shahed 136 loitering munitions. To evade radar, these cheap suicide drones were flying just above the waves at an altitude of less than 100 feet. Tehran's strategy is a masterpiece of deception, using a swarm of speedboats and 3 zombie ships, which have turned off their real AIS to transmit fake signals to create massive chaos. They want the Americans distracted by the tricks on the water while the real threat is screaming in the sky, but the USS Spruance is a link in a digital network that Tehran cannot sever. The destroyer's operations center immediately established a real-time connection with Northrop Grumman's E-2D Advanced Hawkeye aircraft. This aircraft had taken off from the USS Abraham Lincoln on active duty in the Gulf of Oman and maintained an altitude of 25,000 feet. Using its powerful UHF radar, the Hawkeye filtered out the zombie signals and transmitted clear target data directly to the Spruance. 4:15 a.m. 4 Boeing F/A-18E/F Super Hornets, having left the Lincoln's deck just 90 seconds earlier, plunged into the combat zone. Using Raytheon's APG-79 AESA radar, the pilots achieved absolute tactical awareness. In a dominant display, 11 Shahed drones were shot down in exactly 47 seconds. For a brief moment, the Americans believed they had neutralized the aerial threat and gained control of the information domain. 4:19 a.m. Just as the last drone crashed into the sea, Tehran activated the real trap. From coastal bases in Bandar Abbas, a massive electronic wall was activated, a high-power jamming system upgraded with Russian-Chinese technology. Simultaneously, 6 Noor anti-ship missiles, an improved variant of the C-802, were launched from fixed launchers on Kashim Island. These missiles flew at Mach 0.9, skimming just
Xandu 761, that is so wild. My goodness.
inches above the water's surface. The Aegis display on the Spruance began to flicker and malfunction. Critical data links to the Hawkeye aircraft were severed by intense electromagnetic interference. Countdown 180 seconds. The billion-dollar destroyer was blinded and isolated in a sea of interference with 6 deadly warheads hurtling toward it. Poor them, the sneaky folks in Tehran actually thought that would be the knockout blow. 420.
King Charles, during his time as the Prince of Wales, had a surprisingly close relationship with Jimmy Savile, the former BBC presenter, who was exposed after his 2011 extinguishment as one of Britain's most prolific S3 ex-offenders. Oh man, what in the world? Wild.
It's horrible to listen to, and obviously in the knowledge of everything he did, it makes it even harder. But you've uncovered the relationship that Jimmy Savile had with the royal family, particularly with Prince Charles. Tell us about it.
Well, as part the reason we were looking at this is we were trying to explain how Jimmy Savile got away with his crimes, and as part of that, we were looking at a huge amount of archive footage of him on television over a period of 50 years. And as part of that, of talking to people, we came across the letters between him and Prince Charles, which helped give us an understanding of the nature of the friendship that they had, which I don't really think we fully understood before. And I suppose what was most interesting and why we've included those in the film, which looks really broadly at many reasons why Jimmy Savile wasn't apprehended before he died, is that the relationship was one where Prince Charles trusted and respected Jimmy Savile, and I think that's really interesting, because I think what we were trying to do is look honestly at the British public's relationship with Jimmy Savile in order to try and explain how he got away with it. And I think there's been a temptation to sort of say after the revelations, I always knew, I always hated him, I always hated the man. That seems to be the common answer we got when we phone people up. And I think that's unhelpful, because I don't think the archive material or footage bore that out. I think that isn't the case. I think he was trusted and respected. And I think that we need to look at that in order to understand how perpetrators behave and how this happened.
You look back at some of the
London Watchman 137 jumping in on the chat saying the king is a P3D0
comments and things at the time which nobody raised an eyebrow at, and now it is just horrible. I'm reading one piece. This is in Times 2 today. People can read this piece. It's one from a clip from Have I Got News for You? And Ian Hislop asked, what do you do in the caravan? This is back in 1999. And he says, anyone I can lay my hands on. And you listen to this. And why at the time were we not picking up on that? Is it just because he almost groomed the establishment, groomed the British public?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I think the archive footage, we looked at over 700 hours of footage, which hasn't really...
Pale Saint says Diana knew. Princess Diana, I'm guessing. And then it says, incorrect, they never had a soul to sell. My goodness.
For good reason, it was sort of put away after the revelations came out, and we looked at it sort of responsibly and carefully to exactly examine why, when he is, the cliches, he, hiding in plain sight. I think it changes over the years. I think in the 60s and 70s, what's most shocking is that his sort of what we would now describe as lascivious, creepy, assaulting behaviour on women, which is happening in front of the camera on broadcast footage. What's shocking about that is not that he's doing it because we now know what we know, it's that nobody blinks an eye. It's completely normal. So I think that the social conditions at the time that normalised that kind of behaviour, I don't mean the things that we found out that he was also doing, but the sort of public lasciviousness and creepiness was not judged as anything problematic. I think that's really, really interesting to look back at. I think later on in the night, it's interesting because the clip you mentioned is later. I think that the tactic slightly changes, because I think that by then that kind of behaviour, he is seen as a bit of a creepy, strange figure. And I think there's a weird psychological game that's going on where he is actually the one who is the source of the rumours. He's the one saying, the creepy things and suggesting that he's up to no good. And I think it does a kind of double bluff. It's a double bluff with the audience. So it's quite confusing, and people end up thinking, well, he's sort of saying it, so it can't be true. And I think that kind of psychological game that goes on, it's quite complex that we can now look back at in the archive, and we also asked our interviewees who were in the archive to look back at it themselves, which was kind of an interesting experience. Really helps us to understand how this happened in a way that's illuminating.
There you go. There you have it. From this lady herself. My goodness. My goodness. So wild. So Bilzerian had a little bit of a reaction. Getting some pushback. A little TMZ action.
So what do you think about what Dan Bilzerian said? He called you a fat Jew.
Well, look, thanks for having me. I've had people call me names my entire life. It doesn't bother me. I think it's part of the territory, unfortunately, of being Jewish in America. But perhaps, Harvey, to try to explain where you were coming from, when you refer to me or someone that way, it's not being stated to make a statement of fact. It's being stated as a slur. He's making that statement, not that I'm a Jew because it's factual. He's making that statement because he views that as some sort of negative thing. Now, I'd never heard of this guy before until a couple of days ago, but having watched your interview, it's clear that he simply doesn't like Jews. In America, you're allowed to do that.
That's a pretty big statement, right? I don't know if he's accurate, but that's a pretty big statement. What would you call that? A blanket statement?
I don't think it's going to work out to become a congressman having that perspective.
So I hear you that, and in fact, we said that yesterday in talking about the phrase that Dan used, that you can take a word, in fact, you could say blacks in a certain way and it's okay. But you can say it another way and it is very clear that you're saying it as an epithet, right? So I get you on that. What's odd, Congressman, is that during our conversation with Dan Bilzerian, he brought up the fact that he called you an Islamophobe and said that you tweet about things all the time and you tweet things that are racist. And he asked us, is that okay? I said, no, it's not okay.
I agreed.
And
I agreed with you that
yes,
it's not
and you
okay.
agreed that it's not okay. And I went and looked up some of the things that you've been quoted as saying, and I got to say, Dan Bilzerian's right. I mean, unless you want to say these were incorrect, but we need more Islamophobia, not less. Fear of Islam is rational.
There we
Mass
go.
expulsion. Muslim leaders are terrorists. Starve away. Advocating nuclear action.
I imagine that when President Trump said that there was going to be an entire civilization wiped out, based on this, I would say you were cheering that.
Well, look, I think you've taken a lot of different things and you've smushed them together. I don't know that you've provided the context for any of them. What I would say is this. Unlike Dan Bilzerian, I guess, who's talking about Jews as though they're all negative, I don't believe that all Muslims are bad. I think many are good. I think the difference is that also doesn't mean that I think that no Muslims are bad. And if you look at what's happened since the conflict with Iran began.
Mad scientist was. Oh, Maritz says, how stupid can you grown men be? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Mad scientist says, all religion. I don't know if I can agree with you, mad scientist. Do you have any data to back that up?
5 American Muslims.
Jason Beatrice has joined the chat. How you doing, buddy?
In 4 states, launched 4 separate terrorist attacks because they believed they were acting in accordance with their faith. When it's 1, it's 2, it's 3, you can sort of excuse it. But when it's been so many that we've seen over the past 25 years, some fear of this philosophy is a reasonable thing to have. And my issue is there are those who say because not every American Muslim is a terrorist, we're not allowed to say that.
Teddy Tears jumping in on the chat, saying organized religion is for the weak-minded. Data. Give me data. Please prove your point, buddy.
Any are a terrorist.
Well, no, so you're opening the door to someone like Dan Bilzerian saying that he's had a bad experience with 5 Jews, and so therefore all the Jews are bad. Right. They're all fat Jews.
But let me.
DG47 Arms says, do you have any data? Is the question all you do is panda to bigots. You fake like you're neutral, but you're a Trumper. I love Biden. I love Trump. I love the left. I love the right. I love everybody. Give me some data, buddy. Give me some data.
I would clarify. I'm not saying.
By the way, we're going live every single day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member. It helps the channel. If you want to support, throw in a super chat. It's on the. Oh, I gotta add the super chats.
All Muslims are bad. And by the way, I think is saying all Jews are bad. By the way, every group has bad apples in it. That doesn't mean that the entire group is bad.
No,
And
that's true. But I want to point to
every
something.
group is bad. There's no group that's perfect out
Okay,
there.
but I want to point to something because this, to me, may be one of the most troublesome.
Said earlier this year.
Asked dogs or Muslims. You were asked about that, and you said if they force us to choose, the choice between dogs and Muslims is not a difficult one.
Mm-hmm.
How is that not painting an entire group? Because that's not the same as 4 or 5 people or a lot of people. That's saying Muslims are worse than dogs.
That's not what it says. And again, I think you need to provide the context. I'll provide the context.
Okay.
One of Mayor Mondami's key advisors, Muslim advisors in New York, said dogs are not clean. They should be banned as indoor pets because Muslims coming to New York believe they violate their religion. Finally, Islam is coming to New York City. My point was a very clear one. If you're going to make me choose between my dog and people who want to come to this country and say for them to live here, we must ban dogs, the choice is an easy one. And I would put this back on you. I believe that's a view.
Come on, everybody likes dogs, man. They're gonna. Come on. But humans are humans, you know?
That 90%.
DG47 Arm says, I don't believe you, but you do a good job of staying on the fence, and I do like your channel. Thank you, buddy. Happy to have you here. Happy to have people from all walks of life over here trying to find the truth.
Of Americans agree. Do you believe if immigrants want to come to this country and they don't want dogs, would you all give up your own dogs in order to make them happy?
You didn't say immigrants, you said Muslims. There are plenty of United States citizens who are Muslims.
I understand, and I believe the person who made the statement saying dogs are unclean. So immigrants or not. Do you believe if a group of American Muslims says in order to live in this country, you must give up your dog because they...
Pale Saint says, I've worked for Saudis. I have insight. Not everyone has. Would love to hear that insight. Please let us know. Let us know, buddy. Happy to have you here in the chat.
They believe it is unholy. I said, no, they can leave. Look, I'm Jewish, but I don't expect the grocery store to not sell pork. When my kids take matzah to school for Passover, we don't expect the school cafeteria to not serve bread to the students that go there. America is a Christian nation. I'm Jewish. I love being here. I love living here. But that's the way it is. And my point is there are groups of people who are coming to this country that demand that we submit to their faith in order for them to practice it. And I stand by what I said. If I have to choose between my dog and a group of people who say I can't have it, it is not a difficult choice. And I would point out the overwhelming majority of Americans agree with
Where's
me.
Where's the movement to ban dogs? I haven't heard Mondami say that.
Dogs are a man's best friend. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Thank you for jumping in on the chat, AF Zaft.
Mondani is that, and you're pointing to one person.
Mad scientist. Do you think there's some people that are trying to make America a secular nation rather than a Christian nation? Doesn't it? It says "In God We Trust" in a lot of places, right?
In New York who
Great question.
What are you pointing to?
That's a very fair question. This is this one person who, by the way, is a major leader in New York. But there are other leaders in New York, and I could regale you for an hour with quotes about imams in mosques who've said the most unbelievable things. But in places that are a few years ahead of us, like the United Kingdom, they are making moves.
Do I sit corrected? The United States is not an officially Christian nation. As its founding documents, the Constitution and Bill of Rights establish a secular government with no religious test for office, while the majority of Americans have historically identified as Christian and many cultural influences are Christian-based. The country is religiously pluralistic and protects freedom of conscience, separating church and state, making it secular. There you go. Do you think the USA would be better if it was a Christian nation, according to this, you know?
Moves to ban dogs.
Zaft, this man is an idiot. Are you talking about me or the person speaking above me?
As a result of this.
And IRAP 21. What do you mean?
This is not outside the mainstream. But look, to get back to Bilzerian, I don't know how long we have. I would simply say this. You ask about, him as an opponent. A guy who's a foreigner, he's a dual citizen, who has said Donald Trump.
What? Pale Saint says the Islamics pray for our misfortune and death. That is just evil. Is it the death of Western ideology, or is it actual something else? Like, very, very curious.
Is a pedophile rapist and should be impeached. That is not a serious candidate in a Republican primary where Donald Trump got over 90%. So,
Vilma Maritz says, you people have no idea what a Christian nation should be. Bombing a school of more than 100 children? Question mark. That shows you devils are in charge of your military. What are you referring to? And thank you for your chat, Vilma. I think a lot of people in the chat would agree with you that it's not good to ever hurt children. So to say the mistakes of a very few that might be in charge or that are in charge that are calling these shots that are hurting innocent souls, it's not good. This school in Iran. Oh, you're probably talking about that tomahawk that we covered a few nights ago. Yeah, how horrible is that? What a misfortune. What a misfortune. Absolutely gruesome. Not good. And the Lord knows, right? And we're going live every day of 2026. So make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. If you want to support the channel, throw in a super chat on the bottom left. There's a 0 divided by 5. You can do it there, or you can go on my page and click join to become a member.
He's not a serious candidate. We're not going to spend a lot of time worrying.
Bard Clay says they triple tapped that elementary school. Did they? My goodness.
About him because he's running in a Republican primary, and frankly, Republicans love Donald Trump.
What's the problem with a dual citizen running for office?
It was odd that the first thing you said was that
dual citizen
immigrant.
That's a great question. Most Americans don't believe dual citizens should be able to serve in Congress. If you're a citizen of another nation, where you've pledged an oath to that other country, how can you serve in Congress and live up to your obligation to serve the United States?
By taking an oath.
By the way, he served in the U.S. military, so he took an oath to serve in the U.S. military, right?
My understanding is he's taken an oath to protect and defend another country. I just don't believe.
By the way, should he have been in the military?
Been in what?
Should he have been in the U.S. military? In the military, because he was. He served for 4 years.
I mean, I don't have a problem with people who serve in the military.
Well, if you don't have a problem with somebody risking their life for the sake of the country, why would you have a problem with a loyalty oath if they're fighting for their lives for the country?
I think you're conflating a couple of things.
No, I'm not.
My point is very simple.
I'm not conflating anything.
If you are a citizen of a foreign nation, and by the way, I filed this bill 6 months ago, long before I'd ever heard of this guy. I don't believe that people who are citizens of another country should serve in Congress.
But I just asked you, he was willing to risk his life and take an oath to support and defend our country. If he's willing to do that, you don't think that's enough? Because a lot of people who run, were you in the military? I'm just curious.
I was not, but I've also let me finish. I've never taken an oath to support and defend another country and then ask to serve in Congress as a result. Look, I serve with lots of veterans. I'm in awe of the service that they.
Is Randy Fine the guy that was told that he's not allowed to change the mathematics program, so he got into politics to help improve the mathematics program for his children?
They give their country. This has nothing to do with military service, but I simply believe that people who've sworn an oath to put the interests of another country above America should not be in Congress. It's not about him. This is a bill that I filed 6 months ago. And by the way, it's something that's been overwhelmingly positive with the people that I serve. Americans generally do not believe people that are citizens of other countries should.
Kona Lassett joined the chat saying, you know what's stupid as hell? Democrats finding no King's protest, then turn around and give a standing ovation to King Charles, who is a king. You all are S as H. Thank you for your chat, buddy. Make sure you all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every day at 2026.
Should serve in the American government.
But they should serve in the military. Okay.
I mean,
by the way, I know we're almost out of time.
Yeah, dual loyalty is an obvious problem. Pale Saint, absolutely.
Congressman, I know you said you don't view him as a serious candidate, but if there is a groundswell of support for him, would you be willing, down the road, would there be?
Jason Beatrice jumping in on the chat saying, Ilhan Omar gotta go. She was making what, 30 million, and in 1 year now she's making 100,000 a year. Whoa.
A debate. Would you debate Dan Bilzerian?
You know, we're not going to do any campaign events until after qualifying, but I would be loath to be in any event with someone who's willing to use the N-word as freely as he was willing to do it with you. That's simply not language. It's my view that anyone who can use that word so easily probably uses it in their everyday language, and that's not a word that I believe has any place in the Republican Party, and I'm not interested in platforming it.
Okay. I would agree with you on that word. I would disagree with you on a lot of things that you've said about other groups. So I guess we're at a stalemate.
Thank you for joining us, though.
So
we
much,
appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me.
They're at a stalemate. Yeah. All right. Well, you know, he's got the right to collaborate and work with who he wants. Allegedly, Iran attacks Israel live. We got some attacks happening over here. Here's one. My goodness. Is the Iron Dome working or not working? I guess it is with all those things. Here's a close-up of one of them. How you doing, HEB? This is Iran attacks Israel live, allegedly. Tel Aviv. So this is footage of Israel. Yeah, war is unnecessary for sure. Yeah, where is Barry? I had to reset everything because the restream bot wasn't working, so now we can all communicate together. Cosmo Dave 69. Do you actually know who actually did it? May Charlie Kirk's soul rest in peace. My goodness. Whoa. Speaking of, we have some Comey. Where did Comey go?
22 a.m., the USS Spruance is racing against an invisible clock. From the deck of the USS Abraham Lincoln in the Gulf of Oman, a Boeing EA-18G Growler pushes its engines to full afterburner. Carrying a lethal combination of Raytheon's ALQ-99 and NGJMB pods, the Growler pilot launches a devastating jamming counterattack. Using spoof jamming and point jamming, the Growler bounces back at Iran's electronic wall, essentially blinding the blinder and carving a digital breach through the chaos. 4:25 a.m.
Look at that jet. What a jet. My goodness. You want to talk about a hard job? Imagine this. This guy's got a big cat.
Ты умница. Я думал, ножницы сейчас разлетятся вдребезги. Думал, вот и пришел в последний момент. Отлично, Масюшка, ты умница мне. Так. Я понял, да, и я тебя тоже. Очень сильно не люблю сейчас, да.
Imagine just cutting the nails of this thing. This thing is just outrageous. So dangerous.
Да нет, люблю, малыш. Давай быстренько, по чуть-чуть. Мы по чуть-чуть.
It won't let him get that one. Yeah.
Давай эту лапу, давай ее, давай ее.
Yeah, one swipe and that dude's face is just open, or his eye. It's so dangerous, man. So dangerous. You can't speak the language of these big cats.
Вот. Тихо. Ну мы же договорились, что теперь эту лапу.
Не хочу.
Ну вообще такой большой.
Подойди через 5 минут.
Да подойду.
He's so lucky, man.
Умничка. Вот еще. Юрчик, может задний тогда попробуем? Терпеть надо.
Like, how do you even go on with that? Yeah, he's got to have like some huge clippers. And this is what can happen with the big cat if you're not as lucky.
Pretinho, máscara nova, essa tu vai gostar.
Olha pra câmera. Eita!
Look at the eyes.
Pretinho.
It's just so dangerous, man. So dangerous what these people are doing with these cats. Oh, so back to we saw, who was that one streamer? That streamer who got beat up with the Dr. Pepper thing.
You guys do your thing.
This is so weird. So this guy snuck up on stage with just a Dr. Pepper, right? So this guy right here on the left, he hands like these famous streamers, like just Dr. Peppers, and it was Sneeko who got punched. You know, we have some people in the chat who are not too fond of Sneeko, but this is just interesting to see because that guy was wearing a Dr. Pepper shirt, right?
This is? Nope.
So he hands out Dr. Peppers to random famous streamers across the world. And I just want to show you guys this because we know what happened with Sneeko, right? There you go. You have an ISO speed right there, getting one of those from this guy. And he doesn't say anything to the streamers when he's doing this, which is also kind of wild, right? And this is Sir Alex Jones, you know, one of the legends, with two other legends, Mr. Joe Rogan and none other than Tucker Carlson. What are you guys' thoughts on Mr. Alex Jones?
22 years. I don't get into aliens, metaphysical, religion, any of that. I've studied the elite. And I've also communicated with a lot of the top people. And if you want to know, I will actually break down right now the best knowledge right now what's happening on the planet.
What's happening?
The elite are all about transcendence and living forever and the secrets of the universe, and they want to know all this. Some are good, some are bad, some are a mix. And we're on this planet, and Einstein's physics showed it, Max Planck's physics showed it all. There's at least 12 dimensions. And now that's why all the top scientists and billionaires are coming out saying it's a false hologram. It is artificial. The computers are scanning it and finding tension points where it's artificially projected and gravity's bleeding in to this universe. That's what they call dark matter. So we're like a thought or a dream that's a wisp in some computer program, some God's mind, whatever. They're proving it all. It's all coming out. Now, there's like this sub-transmission zone below the third dimension that's just turned over to the most horrible things is what it resonates to. And it's trying to get up into the third dimension that's just a basic level consciousness to launch into the next levels. And our species is already way up in the fifth, sixth dimension, consciously, our best people. And the elites themselves
so interesting
believe they're racing using human technology to try to take our best minds and build some type of breakaway civilization where they're going to merge with machines, transcend, and break away from the failed species that is man. And so Google was set up 18, 19 years ago. I knew about this before it was declassified. I'm just saying I have good sources, that they wanted to build a giant artificial system. And Google believes that the first artificial intelligence will be a supercomputer based on the neuron activities of the hive mind of humanity, with billions of people wired into it with the Internet of Things. And so all of our thoughts go into it, and we're actually building a computer that has real neurons in real time that's also psychically connected to us, so that they will have current prediction powers, future prediction powers, a true crystal ball. But the big secret is, once you have a crystal ball and know the future, you can add stimuli beforehand and make decisions that control the future. And so then it's the end of consciousness and free will for individuals, as we know, and a true hive mind consciousness with an AI jacked into everyone, knowing our hopes and dreams, delivering it to us because we were already wired in and absorbed before we knew it by giving over our consciousness to this system by our daily decisions that it was able to manipulate and control into a larger system. There's now a human counterstrike taking place to shut this off before it gets fully into place, and to block these systems and cut off the pedophiles and psychic vampires that are control of this AI system before humanity's destroyed.
So, no, it's 7 years.
Someone in the chat is calling saying BS. Edward Misma saying kind of like the movie Total Recall. Total Recall. Synopsis of Total Recall. What happened there? What happened in that movie? Total Recall is a science fiction franchise based on Philip P. short story We Can Remember It For You, wholesale centering on Douglas Quaid, a man who discovers his life as a fabricated memory implant. The narrative explores themes of identity and reality as Quaid, initially a construction worker or factory laborer, becomes a fugitive after a memory implantation procedure goes wrong, revealing he is actually a secret agent named Carl Hauser. Quaid travels to Mars to confront the tyrannical Administrator Cohagen, uncovering a plot to withhold oxygen from the planet's rebels. Wild. Kind of, you know, if you think about it.
Years ago, no one was thinking AI was going to take over civilization.
So you can see why the FBI decided to destroy him, which it did.
That's wild. That's wild that they even stated that. That's so wild. Miss Jane says Joe Rogan and Alex Jones are plants. Don't be fooled, people. How? How are they? How? Let us know. There you go. Lauren Harrington. Thank you for jumping on the chat. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. We're going live every day of 2026. That's so wild. I had these James Comey here. And I guess they just don't want it to be here. While I find the video, well, everyone loves puppies. This is Sophie Cunningham playing with puppies. Sophie Cunningham is
this is the dog station.
Indiana
Hell yeah,
Fever.
come on.
And this is just like complete joy.
Yeah.
We got some puppies. We got some puppies.
Oh my god, you're so like a little puppy.
One of her teammates, Caitlin Clark is her teammate, and she's like, once I saw this video, I just had to mute it. And I was just laughing. Thank you, Edward and Miss Moss. Happy to have you here, buddy. Happy to have you here.
This is so fun. Are you guys having fun too? Your tail is waggling.
And one of the cool things about this girl, Sophie Cunningham, she's like, can you pray for us? Can you pray for us? Pray for health and for a good season. That's really cool.
You guys are so fun. Oh my god, this is the best station ever. So fun. Is everyone having fun? Oh. I'm Sophie Cunningham, and I have to say goodbye. I'm going to go take these to the farm.
The founding fathers
All
were...
right, so, yeah, King Charles. No kings, say the Democrats, but standing up for King Charles, allegedly. Let's see what FBI Director Kash Patel has to say about James Comey. Mr. James Comey. James Comey is the ex-director of the FBI. And yeah, we're going live every day of 2026. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member if you want, and throw in some super chats. Let's hear about it, Cash. Let's hear about it.
As you heard from the Attorney General and the U.S. Attorney, former FBI Director James Comey has now been indicted for 2 felony counts. While many of you may read this indictment and view this matter as a simple investigation, it is the farthest thing from that. Every single investigation this FBI and our partners at the Department of Justice undertake, especially those that involve the threats to harm or hurt or even kill individuals, whether they hold public office or civilians in our country, are met with the same measure of investigative prowess and tools and personnel in partnership with the Department of Justice as anyone else. As the U.S. Attorney indicated, James Comey will be afforded every matter of due process under the United States Constitution.
There you go.
And as the Attorney General indicated, this has been a case that's been investigated over the past 9, 10, 11 months. These cases take time. Our investigators work methodically. They are career agents,
Trump equals winning. Threshold moment has joined the chat, y'all.
Prosecutors who work these matters. They call the balls and strikes in the field as they...
AI Vista says his wife is MOSSAD. Give me some data. Give me some data. Would love to know about that.
...see fit pursuant to the facts of the case and the law. They took that information and made a presentment to a grand jury, a jury of peers in the district in which the alleged crime took place. And that grand jury spoke, and that grand jury returned a 2-count indictment against James Comey.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, if you want to threaten someone, it's 100% okay to threaten their ideas, I guess, or challenge their ideas. But if you threaten someone's person, that's not cool, man. That's not good. You know, he's got so much on his plate already. Don't threaten people. Threaten their ideas, I guess. Like, you know, like say, hey, challenge their ideas. Don't challenge the people. You know, like earlier in the chat, people were challenging other people, and it's okay. But whenever it gets like too hard, it's just not fun anymore. You know, everyone has feelings.
James Comey allegedly threatened the life of the President of the United States. And as you all now know, shortly after...
Tissy Pina has joined the chat. Yeah, a lot of people have said that. I have no idea. My goodness. That's right. Lauren Harrington, please like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Become a member if you want to help support this channel. Throw in a super chat. I love you. The Lord loves you. Jimmy Memes. There you go, bro. Answering the questions.
After posting that threat, he deleted that threat and then issued an apology. All of that information was presented to the grand jury, and Mr. Comey will have his day in court. And
yeah, it's so wild that, you know, Jimmy Kimmel said the same thing. How you doing, the Black Seinfeld? Happy to see you here, buddy. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel said something very similar. That's just not cool, man. Especially if you're that big of a person, you should use your platform to kind of spread the good news if you can. Sam W says, I'll bet money absolutely nothing happens to Mr. James Comey.
His ability to speak to a jury of his peers. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
The case and the law.
Yeah, that's wild. So if you want to know what James Comey did, he allegedly found rocks in the sand that say 8647, and when you say 86, that means extinguish, and 47 is POTUS's current number. He's the 47th president of the United States. So if you put those two together, it's not a good look.
We still don't know the charges, but we do know what this is related to. Again, remember, the first round, the first indictment was about him lying to Congress and these leaks to the press. That has nothing to do with this indictment. We are told that this has to do with the case that you heard Caitlin Polans talking about earlier, this
Mr. One Boston has joined the chat. Bankers equals 47. Oh, does that mean like the bankers are the 47th president?
investigation from Secret Service into Comey's social media post.
King T, 5245, jumping in on the chat. Some say he does look that way, man. Some say they do. Yeah, 4 plus 5 equals 9, and 4 plus 7 equals 11. Oh. Okay.
That he posted a picture on the beach of seashells.
Oh, sorry, seashells. Seashells, you're right. Threshold moment. I sit corrected. Threshold says, in actuality, he did not find rocks. He arranged seashells to say 8647. And the 8 is actually like a different collection of seashells. So the 647 is one brand of seashells, and the other one, the 8, is like another variation of the seashells. So he tried to separate it, but people know what's happening.
Shells that said 8647. Then he deleted that post, but at the time Republicans said that he was trying to incite violence against President Trump using that kind of social media post there. Now, I will tell you that the source that I spoke to directly correlated this to what happened on Saturday night, saying we've already seen all of this incitement of violence. We just saw it again on Saturday night. Not that these two things were directly related, but referencing the event on Saturday night while
wait, what do you mean threshold? What are you talking about? It is a direct threat. What did I say? Did I say it? Well, you don't know. Allegedly it's a threat. You never know.
talking about this indictment in particular and the case around this social media post. It will be interesting to hear what we hear from the Justice Department on this. If there is
Threshold. Did you see that teacher? She lost her job because she was so unhappy that the news wasn't the news she wanted it to be about POTUS.
Is any kind of actual correlation talking about this incitement of violence, but it also comes at a point where we're hearing from this White House nonstop saying that this is all about political rhetoric, that the reason that there have been so many assassination attempts have been because of rhetoric against President Trump. Obviously, we know that rhetoric on both sides of the aisle has been increasingly violent in this political environment that we are currently in. But that is what we know so far about the current indictment against James Comey, that this is about that social media post, which at the time the Secret Service said that they were going to investigate.
Kristen, thank you so much for that reporting. Caitlin Polantz is with us now. So Caitlin, the sourcing indicates that this is over that 8647 post that James Comey published online now years ago. There's no indication, there's no evidence at this point that we're aware of that's in the public that that post had anything to do with what happened on Saturday night, correct?
Correct. Boris, that post was from May of 2025, so several months ago, almost a year ago. And at the time, what happened, I was just going back to remember exactly how this went down. Comey posted it. 8647 people who were Trump allies and Republicans responded to it, initially believing that it was a call to potentially assassinate the president. 86 is what is commonly used in restaurant speak to say when something is out or no more. And 47 would be
like something is off the menu or someone's drinking too much, you 86 them, which means like you need to take them out of the drinking establishment, allegedly, from what I understand.
The 47th president's, the seashell post back in May of 2025. James Comey, after this was posted, after there was blowback from Republicans and people who were allied with Donald Trump, he took the post down and he said publicly, "I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. It never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down." But the Department of Homeland Security Secretary at the time, Kristi Noem, she said that she did want to have Comey investigated for the assassination, for calling for an assassination of Donald Trump, and that Kash Patel.
There it is. So like the 8 is a different variation of seashells, and then the 647. But there's a space between the 6 and the 4, and underneath it says Comey cool shell formation on my beach walk. So he doesn't say he did it or he did not do it, but allegedly he saw it. He didn't create it.
How the FBI director was also standing by to work on that investigation. They spoke to Comey. It didn't result in anything at that time, but as Kristen noted, we are in a different moment, and this has been a moment where the Justice Department and Donald Trump have wanted to see James Comey investigated, prosecuted, indicted for multiple different inquiries. We know that there have been multiple inquiries around Comey, his work as the FBI director, potentially other things that had happened after he was the FBI director. The perjury case that he previously faced in the Eastern District of Virginia, that evidence was very much locked down by a judge after the dismissal of that case. We are still waiting to hear exactly what else is going on here. I just spoke to the clerk's office in North Carolina, in the federal court that would be covering the beaches there, which is very possibly where this would have been, where he would have taken that photo. They have nothing yet that they knew of, and I'm looking at the court records, and there's nothing online at this time. So we're waiting more from either the court or the Justice Department or from Comey himself to get a response. Right now, still a lot of questions, but this indictment, it clearly is something much different than what Donald Trump has been so angry about over all these years, the Russia investigation that James Comey oversaw in 2016. Instead, it's about a social media post that James Comey took down and said he intended no harm with from May of 2025.
Yeah, a curveball there. Caitlin Polantz, thank you so much. Our thanks to Kristen Holmes at the White House as well. Let's bring in National Security Attorney Bradley Moss. Bradley, thanks for being with us. What is your reaction to this news? James Comey indicted for a second time.
So what's going on? Do you think they're supporting Comey or they're not supporting Comey? What's happening over here?
If at first you don't succeed, try again, Donald. Eventually you'll get him.
We got Chris J in the chat saying, just bring back the auto pen. There you go.
You know, look, we're waiting to hear, as Caitlin just noted, where this was even brought and what the charges are. Two of the likely...
We got Threshold saying it is 100% left-wing wackos with Trump derangement syndrome. Mr. One Boss has said he does use it.
Angles that she mentioned there, if they were to try that again, whether it's the perjury issue that was tried in the Eastern District of Virginia, or if it's that photo with the 8647, if they try to bring up some kind of threat against the president, prosecution along those lines, those would be a joke. They're, the pretrial motions write themselves. A third-year law student can get those tossed, let alone the top team he'll have defending him. What we don't know, and what will be interesting to see is this the first shot coming out of South Florida, where we know there's this ongoing attempt by Trump allies in the Justice Department to try to bring some sort of grand conspiracy charge dating all the way back to 2016 and Crossfire Hurricane and the intelligence community assessment of 2017. They are finally trying to bring that case. It'll be fascinating to see if they are. It's riddled with legal problems. Waiting to see what the indictment shows, but I am not by any means impressed by this maneuver.
I also wonder about recent changes at the DOJ, and specifically I'm talking about former Attorney General Pam Bondi's exit. President Trump on social media posted about his frustrations over her not pursuing prosecutions against some of his political rivals, Comey among them, as well as Letitia James, James Brennan, etc. Does it say something about how the new acting Attorney General, Todd Blanche, President Trump's former personal attorney, might approach these cases?
Yeah, it's certainly something we're going to learn about in the pretrial motions, no doubt, in some form of discovery. Were there declination memos? Did this already try to get brought up? And Pam Bondi, of all people, who was by no means weak-willed when it came to trying to bring prosecutions in support of Donald Trump's vendetta, did she turn these down? And yet Todd Blanche and now Joe DiGenova as well, who was brought in as a counselor to DOJ.
Figgy One. Drop some data. Let's see the data. Donald J. Plump says, remember when the MAGA cult thought Hillary was going to go to jail? How did that work out?
Out in Florida, are they now trying to bring this over the objections of career prosecutors who previously rejected this? It's going to look terrible for the Justice Department and its reputation, no doubt, when this all gets fleshed out in some form of criminal discovery, and if this ever gets to trial, which I don't expect it will. But Donald Trump doesn't care about that. What he wants is what he's getting right this moment, which is the headline, James Comey indicted. He wants the spectacle. He doesn't care about what comes out in the end. If he gets prosecuted and convicted, that's just a bonus for Donald Trump. He wants these chyrons right now.
He wants them right now. He wants them. Pluto Boy says Trump is a P3D zero. It's the reason he won't sue anyone that calls him one. There you go. Eric says this is assiduous prosecution. Mr. One Boss is saying 5 conglomerate control 99% of what you can and cannot buy, and they own 20% of each other. A bunch of just partial ownership here and there, left and right. Yeah.
With communication links temporarily restored, the 2 remaining Super Hornets switched to air-to-air mode, optimizing their radars for low-altitude tracking. They fired a salvo of Raytheon's AIM 120 AMRAAM missiles to intercept the incoming NOR missiles from a distance. On the deck of the USS Spruance, the steel shield was activated via a pre-established emergency procedure. Lockheed Martin's SM-2 Block 3A interceptor missiles roared out of the Mark 41 vertical launching system. Simultaneously, Raytheon's Phalanx CIW-SA radar-guided 20mm Gatling gun began rotating its barrel, searching for anything that might have slipped through the outer defense perimeter.
Look at the size of that thing, man. Unreal. Just absolutely unreal.
The engagement was a chaotic symphony of fire and steel. 3 Nor missiles were destroyed by salvos of AIM-120, AMRAAM, and SM-2 missiles. 2 others were deceived by the Growler's electronic decoys and plunged into the sea. The final one was torn apart by a hail of tungsten rounds from the Phalanx CIWs at a distance of just 500 yards. 4:32 a.m. The entire aerial engagement lasted exactly 38 precious seconds. The Spruance's Aegis system was still experiencing minor interference, but the radar picture was beginning to clear. The immediate threat from the sky had been neutralized, but the cost was the depletion of firepower and a 1-minute loss of tactical awareness. The ship had survived, but the Iranians still had a more insidious layer of attack silently rising from beneath the water's surface. 4:35 a.m. On the flight deck of the USS Spruance, the adrenaline from the aerial battle had not yet subsided when a new, even more terrifying threat emerged. While the Americans...
We got something coming in a few seconds. We got Trump huddles with oil executives as Iran stalemate drags on. Coming up in a few seconds.
Were preoccupied with the blazing skies Tehran had been waiting for, the perfect opportunity to strike from the depths. Hidden for over 48 hours in the treacherous 80-foot deep waters of the Strait, a Ghadir-class mini-submarine,
GW 2424 says, Comey is a traitor. Deal with it instead of turning into a nasty, delusional libtard. There you go. There you go. Strong, strong words from GW. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. We're going live every single day of 2026, and throw in a super chat if you want. Become a member. Join the channel. Help support us. We love you. I love you. We need you.
Silent Predator built by Iran's Marine Industries Organization began its mission. Operating entirely on battery power to eliminate all acoustic signatures, the Ghadir was virtually invisible to conventional ship-mounted sonar systems. 4:38 a.m. The Ghadir surfaced to periscope depth in just 30 seconds, long enough to calculate its fire solution. It unleashed a deadly cocktail, 4 smart mines equipped with magnetic and acoustic sensors, immediately followed by 2 U-3 torpedoes. The distance was a mere 1,200 miles, essentially point-blank range in naval combat. Iran had taken a gamble. They believed the Spruance's sonar crews were still deafened by the recent explosions and the lingering interference from the electronic wall. But the U.S. Navy's underwater trap net was already in place. 4:40 a.m., a Boeing P-8, a Poseidon patrolling from Al Dhafra Air Base, detected the periscope breaking the surface. It immediately dropped a series of 12 Raytheon sonobuoys, creating a sonic barrier across the area. At the same time, a Sikorsky MH-60R Seahawk helicopter, having taken off from the deck of the Spruance 50 seconds earlier, hovered over the churning waters. The crew deployed a towed sonar array emitting sound pulses and locking onto the steel hull of the Ghadir, and then the massive surprise appeared. Silently rising from the deep...
Oh, we got one for you. This one's a little different. This is the liberal. The liberal, not too happy about the Trump
cooked as a country when my...
How are we looking with that one?
First reaction to hearing the news about Trump's attempt was, it was probably fake. Like, immediately I was like, oh, that wasn't real. Probably fake. And the second was, aw, they missed? So happy they missed. Oh. Yeah, that's sad. That's when you know we're cooked.
Yeah, so optimistic, so optimistic. You know, it's interesting, to say the least. It's interesting, a little bit interesting.
Water trench was Boeing's Orca XLU.
The Orca.
UVI extra-large unmanned underwater vehicle. This silent sentinel had been deployed days earlier and was closely monitoring every movement of the Ghadir. The Orca transmitted high-precision real-time target data to the Seahawk. Without a moment's hesitation, the Seahawk pilot launched a Raytheon Mark 54 lightweight torpedo. The entire underwater crisis was neutralized in exactly 2 minutes and 12 seconds. It's like trying to sneak a knife into a gunfight.
Carla Jones jumping on the chat saying the only man with cojones against demon craps. There you go.
Pour them. They thought darkness was their friend, but in this ocean, darkness belongs to the U.S. Navy.
Lauren says the reason everyone hates Trump is because he doesn't give away the main plan. There you go.
4:50 a.m., Tehran had played all its trump cards. Suicide drones were burning on the water surface. Nor missiles had been torn to shreds, and their secret submarine had been neutralized. But the U.S. Navy wasn't done yet. It was time to rewrite the ending to this confrontation. The commander aboard the USS Spruance calmly ordered, "They tried to use..."
Thank you, Mike Louie. Happy to receive that. Thank you for that. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every day at 2026, and trying to find the truth, developing the best community on the internet over here. And throw in one of those super chats if you want, or join the channel, become a member.
Use our own playbook against us. Now it's time to turn off the lights. The attack shifted to the Boeing EA-18G Growler. Operating at the aircraft's absolute limits, the Growler pilot activated the full power of the next-generation jammer system. This was no longer defensive jamming. This was electronic suppression on a strategic scale. The Growler blinded all of Iran's coastal radars from Bandar Abbas to Qasem Island.
Wild. Absolutely wild. Impressive technology. And here's the teacher. This is that teacher. Can she be trusted with 5-year-olds? My goodness. Let's see what she says.
Man, there's been a few creators on here saying that like Friday or yesterday could have been the day. And then I wake up to that news, but not that news.
That news, but not that news. Okay. Yeah.
We're gonna have to pay really close attention to what they're trying to actually distract us from.
There you go. And so allegedly, a kindergarten teacher, that's her, Corinne Baum from Cincinnati, Ohio, was fired after posting a video complaining Trump wasn't extinguished. My goodness, what did she expect? No consequences. She was trusted with 5-year-olds. Good riddance.
Glowing over.
We have none other than Levitt calling out Jimmy Kimmel. Not happy with the Kimmel of Jims.
For example, as the First Lady of the United States pointed out this morning, just 2 days prior to the shooting, ABC's late-night host Jimmy Kimmel disgustingly called First Lady Melania Trump an expectant widow. Who in their right minds says a wife would be glowing over the potential murder of her beloved husband?
Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Imagine if Kimmel said that about you, or to your wife, or to you about your husband if you're a woman.
And having experienced what I did with the First Lady on Saturday night, I can tell you that she was anything but that. This kind of rhetoric about the president, the First Lady, and his supporters is completely deranged, and it's unbelievable that the American people are consuming it night after night after night. As president...
Yeah, come on. Come on. P Spicer 777 says snowflakes need safe spaces. There you go. An age difference joke, not a extinguishment joke from Jeeper 1969. Soon to be widow. Soon to be widow. If someone says soon to be widow, regardless of what it is, you're taking away someone's best friend, their lover, their everything. Not a cool thing to do. Challenge the person's ideas, not the person. Come on, y'all. Come on. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every day at 2026. Throw in a super chat. Become a member. I love you. The Lord loves you. Everybody in the community loves you.
All communications from shore to their ships were reduced to meaningless static. Their electronic wall wasn't just breached, it was shattered. 4:53 a.m. With Iran's electromagnetic spectrum completely neutralized, the E-2D Advanced Hawkeye restored high-speed data links at maximum capacity. The Aegis combat system on the Spruance returned to full auto mode. Its digital eyes were now clearer than ever. The last 2 Super Hornets carried out a final sweep of the airspace, shooting down the 3 remaining Shahhed 136 drones drifting aimlessly like lost vultures. One by one, the red icons on the Spruance's combat screen disappear. The Iranian fast attack craft, seeing their air cover missiles and underwater support vanish into thin air, begin to flee in disarray toward Iranian territorial waters. 4:55 a.m. The U.S. fleet remained intact, not a single scratch on the Spruance's hull. On the bridge,
Threshold jumping in on the chat saying, the whole strategy is for them to attack the source, not the idea. It is not an arena of ideas with Democrats. It's a battlefield of emotions. Is that an ad hominem? Ad hominem is a Latin phrase meaning to the person that refers to a logical fallacy where an argument is refuted by attacking the character, motive, or other attribute of the person making the argument rather than addressing the substance of the argument itself. There you go. Commonly described as an informal fallacy of irrelevance, it shifts focus from the issue at hand to the individual, often serving as a diversion tactic. While historically used to describe dialectical strategies tailored to an opponent's beliefs, modern usage typically denotes abusive ad hominem attacks, insulting character. Circumstantial ad hominem, dismissing arguments based on a personal circumstance, or to quo, deflecting criticism by pointing out hypocrisy. Yeah, I think that would be an ad hominem. Thank you for the chat. And we're going live every single day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. We're trying to get smarter, better. Throw in a super chat if you want. It helps the channel.
the tension finally dissipated, replaced by the professional hum of a perfectly functioning machine. For Tehran, this was a catastrophic strategic defeat. As for the U.S. Navy, it was just another ordinary Tuesday. 4:58 a.m. The tactical chaos had subsided, but for the U.S. Navy, neutralization was not enough. This was the moment for the checkmate move, a final overwhelming display of multi-domain dominance. On the bridge of the USS Spruance, the commander looks at the radar screen, now clear of enemy ships, and issues his final orders. Below the surface, Boeing's Orca XLUUV, the silent architect of...
Nothing wrong with being a bootlicker. A bootlicker is usually a derogatory term for a person who acts in an excessively submissive, fawning, or servile manner toward authority figures to gain favor or advantage.
Victory beneath the waves remains at periscope depth. Its role shifts from predator to coordinator, transmitting real-time coordinates to the entire strike group. 5:05 a.m. In the Gulf of Oman, the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln began its maximum aircraft launch. The stillness of dawn was shattered by the roar of dozens of Boeing F/A-18E/F Super Hornets and Lockheed Martin F-35C Lightning IIs streaking off the deck.
Streaking off the deck. My goodness, those things are fast. Absolutely fast. Oh, you guys want to see some more Democrats? All right, let's see some heroes. Allegedly.
Giving you any answers.
I haven't seen this video, but seems like it's gonna be a fun one, you know? We might bring out the cat. We might bring out the dog. Do we bring out the cat? Not yet, not yet.
I don't think anyone here wants to give you answers.
You're literally talking to me right now.
I know, because I'm telling you that I don't want to give you any answers. Nobody here wants to give you answers.
It's Donald Trump's birthday.
You're better to move on.
No.
You're better to move on.
No.
This is not the right place for you.
Aren't you all about inclusivity?
That's the...
Aren't you all about inclusivity? Come on. Come on, lady. Come on. Come on. Look at the cat. What a cute cat.
The paradox of inclusivity. The paradox of tolerance. Have you heard of that?
What is so wrong with me that I shouldn't be welcome here?
Because we don't have to tolerate
You take care of your body. You have like traditional looks of a female.
intolerance.
Go on. What about me specifically? Should I not be welcome here?
You are here questioning why people are here peacefully demonstrating. We have the right to be here peacefully demonstrating. Everyone here is literally telling you why they're here with their signs, with their very presence. And yet here you are, getting in people's faces, keeping them away from what's important. And so I'm done with you now, and I really just suggest
you got your 15. No, I guess this is all about love, and so I should be welcome here. Yeah.
Thank you.
You guys came up to me. Why do they always come up to me and then tell me to stop filming or tell me to leave? Or
Yeah, what about freedom of speech, right? Freedom of the press.
you today?
Doing wonderful. How are you?
Is that foundation or is that Cheeto dust?
It's Cheeto dust.
Cheeto dust? I got something for you, Cheeto dust. Well, bam. Bam. There you go. Go on and get it, kitty.
Of course, it's Cheeto dust. Absolutely. I'm sure.
Tell us about why you're wearing this and what inspired it.
Because I am very anti-Trump. I'm for democracy in America. I don't want kings. I don't want dictatorship. So I'm here to support America and the people that need the help that we're not getting sometimes.
Okay, and how is Trump exhibiting
That kitty gets them all.
king-like behavior?
He's
He's what? He's what? What is he? What? What? Bam! Bam! There you go. There you go.
in king-like behavior by having military parade would be a good idea. National Guard going out.
Jimmy Wood has joined the chat, saying more chins than a Chinese phone. More chins than a Chin-ease phone book. What bam, dude. What bam. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications because we have the best community on the internet. Best jokes, best times. We're having fun. We love everybody. We love the libs. We love the Republicans. We love the centrists. We love everybody.
Not following the Constitution. Several things.
Okay, all right. It's his birthday today.
I know.
Do you have a happy birthday message to him?
I hope I see your obituary in the paper tomorrow.
Okay.
That'd be a message, yeah.
Okay.
What? How evil is that, bro? He hopes he sees the obituary in the paper tomorrow.
So you hope that this is his last birthday?
Well, I don't want him dead. I just want him not in office anymore.
Well, obituary would mean dead.
I know. I was being sarcastic. I just like him out of office.
Out of office.
Yeah.
Would you like J.D. Vance to be the president
No,
then?
I would not.
Okay.
Yeah, I would not.
Okay.
Dude. I don't think I've ever brought the cat out this many times.
Who would you like to be the president?
Kamala Harris right now, but she didn't win. But
Can I point out something that we say no kings and no authoritarianism, but Kamala Harris, no one voted for her.
yes, they did. Half the country voted for her, so let's not go there.
No one was voted for her to be the nominee.
Yes, they did.
Isn't that what, authoritarian?
You're going down the wrong road right now with me. I wouldn't go any further.
What does that mean?
I'm not going to talk to you anymore. That's what it means.
Don't prove me wrong. If you prove me wrong, I'm not gonna talk to you anymore. I can't learn. It hurts me to learn. Oh my gosh, I'm learning new information. I can't. Ah! Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh.
I just think it's ironic that no one voted for her to be the nominee. They just selected her like a king gets selected, right?
He says, thank you, I appreciate it.
Keep it to yourself, okay? Bye, have a good day.
Bye, have a good day. Look at that face, dude. This dude. Oh my gosh, man. What in the world? He doesn't look like he's happy. Everything he says sounds like a lie. Thank you, have a good day. Like, he's not thanking her. He doesn't want her to have a good day. He's just being like fake polite. So bad with these people that are being fake polite. It's the worst thing to do. Like these women that get all these like pump ups in their face and all that stuff, you know, like they got a fake face and they're acting like they got a real attitude. Come on. fake attitude. Have a good day. Thank you.
See ya. Take care.
Evan, what's your other
Take
thing
care.
say?
Another thing, take care. It's all lies. Like, he's saying complete lies to this woman.
Hey, you don't need to see it.
Okay.
None of your business.
All right. Thank you so much. What crimes have they committed?
Trump?
Yeah, the ones in the Oval Office. What crimes have those people committed?
You want to look it up on Wikipedia? There's like a list.
Well, you made the sign, so I'm asking you.
It's true. I'm at a protest though.
Yeah.
I don't need to know anything. I'm here for my community.
Okay, so
So how much is he getting paid?
you make a sign about people being criminals, but you don't know what you made it for?
All right, so I make a sign supporting my community and the people in it.
Yeah.
And I'm not ashamed.
I know. You shouldn't be ashamed of your sign. I'm just asking what crimes they have committed.
I don't have to list them to you. You can simply look it up.
Have you done research? It's all over the media. Yeah, so I was just asking him, he's holding the sign, if he could just tell me what crimes people in the Oval Office have committed. You're holding it, so I thought maybe you could give it to me quickly.
I'm good.
You want to overcomplicate everything.
What's she talking about? Give it to her quickly, man. Just give her the data. Give her the info.
And break it down, but it's very.
He's holding a sign that says people are criminals.
He's doing Nazi hand gestures.
Who?
Trump, and that is a lack of empathy thing. You know what I'm talking about.
He's doing
it's all
Nazi
over. It's
hand
videos
gestures?
all over the internet. He does
Trump
the hand
is.
thing. Yes, he does. And you can sit here and overcomplicate it and make it a difficult thing, but it's not that.
She's 18.
How bold is this woman going in the middle of all these protests?
He's 18. If you want to know what
they're
issues we're
adults.
having, the Monuments Clause, they're not following that. They're not following due process for immigrants.
They are.
They're also not allowing Congress to take care of their own rights, which is to make sure that everything is appropriated correctly and that all the departments that are running our government get the resources that they need.
Are those crimes?
Those are really a fine line.
His sign just said that they're committing crimes. All I did was ask what crimes are being committed.
This is wild. Check this one out. Check this one out. Let's check it out. The Party of Love very much wants Trump extinguished for some reason. The Party of Diversity demands everyone think the same. The Party of Tolerance gets violent if you disagree with them. The party. What do you think, chat? Agree or disagree?
And you guys are now like shaking, and I was just wondering if you could tell me what crimes.
Yeah. Well, the crime mainly is to divide us and to have you asking these questions when you're really missing the point. And
I'm asking you guys for the point. You cannot give me one crime anyone in the Oval
I
Office.
gave you 5 points.
Okay, so he's making Nazi salutes.
I gave her the points.
You know, I know you're just trying to make videos, okay? So you can make money off of other people.
There you go. There you go. She's talking about something right now. We're going live every day at 2026. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat. I love
Here
you.
for a cause.
Yeah.
We're here for something deeper than just arguing, okay? We're here for love and empathy and spreading the right messages.
Love and empathy.
You just accuse someone of throwing up the Nazi salute.
It's not an accusation, okay?
When did he do that?
There is plenty of videos on the internet, okay? I'm not here to give you evidence. I'm here for a cause, okay?
I don't think you can give me the evidence.
You can look it up.
Okay.
Danny BSLC says, LOL, F word, MAGA, bunch of kittens. There you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah. So is this your tribe over here?
Yeah, every time I ask them to go further into what they're saying or their signs.
Love and empathy, right, bro? The Chad USA. Dropping some knowledge in the chat.
Always, you can look it up. You can.
Okay, so that's her security guard back there. All right, this is starting to make sense.
You can on Wikipedia. They say. So. Just tell me when he did it.
You lose by being an egotistical person.
I know.
That's the law.
I know. All right. Thank you.
You lose by being an egotistical person.
5:15 a.m. witnessing their tricks shattered.
Goodness gracious, man. What do you think, chat? Is that the party of peace? You know, I love liberals. I love Republicans. I love everybody. But just like certain people, I think those are just like a few of them, a few in the far between, like some extremists. Because I actually do know some really, really cool liberals and really cool Republicans. So, yeah, don't let the media get it twisted. Don't need to be divided. You know, if you love Barcelona and your best friend loves Real Madrid. You're not going to argue about it. You know, just talk about something else, right? Do something else. You don't have to talk about politics all the time if you disagree on certain things, right?
And their forces reduced to smoke. IRGCN commanders ordered a chaotic retreat. They withdrew into the shadows of the Bandar Abbas base, leaving behind nothing but charred debris and a shattered reputation. The desperate gamble to break America's economic stranglehold resulted in a catastrophic strategic defeat for Tehran. On board the USS Spruance, combat alert levels were lowered. To the world, it was a 47-minute crisis that could have sparked a global war. But for the crew of the General Dynamics-built destroyer...
Jason Beatrice says, I don't speak to my liberal sister. Oh my gosh, dude. I don't know why that's so funny. I have no idea. You shouldn't make me laugh that hard. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every single day of 2026.
Bless their hearts, it was just another ordinary Tuesday. Tehran's sophisticated ambush was meant to be a knockout blow, but they forgot one thing. The U.S. Navy doesn't just guard the oil lifeline, it controls every inch of the battlefield from the skies to the depths of the ocean. This isn't just a victory.
Stephen Jenkins says, me neither. GW says, don't even try. Libs cannot argue because they do not deal in facts. They turn into nasty temper tantrum throwing turds.
It's a reminder to every adversary on this planet, don't provoke the eagle while it's guarding the world's most critical choke point. Like the Shahed 136 suicide drone is hunting. It has a target and it knows exactly where to find it. The drone flies low, hugging the curves of the sand dunes in eastern Syria. It stays just a few feet off the ground to hide from our long-range radar. It's 3 a.m. and the base is dark. We are in a total blackout. The drone levels its wings and flies straight through the open door of Hangar 4. 2 hours ago, that hangar was empty. But just a little while ago, we moved a top-secret electronic warfare pod inside. It was a move we thought no one could see. There were no cell phones, no signals, nothing. But the drone found the door at the exact time it needed to and hit with the speed of a car crash. The explosion is a bright flash of orange. The hangar roof caves in. The secret pod is destroyed. In the desert, the silence is gone. Now there are only sirens.
Wild. Wild. Oh, for the libs. We gotta do one for the libs, right? For my friendly libs, this is for you. We got make tacos great again. Just make them all great again. And make America great again, right? Might as well. Might as well.
And the sound of things burning. We realized something terrifying. The enemy didn't have to guess where we were. They were watching us from above. The base doesn't slowly wake up. It explodes into action. The ground under our feet shakes as the first battery of M142 HIMARS trucks moves into position. Then a roar fills the air as 6 rockets blast off the rails. They aren't just shooting into the dark. We have the exact spot where the drones were launched. Each rocket is a streak of fire moving at 2,500 miles per hour. Above us, 2 F-15E Strike Eagles take off in seconds. They stay low and push through the sound barrier. The loud bang of the sonic boom breaks every window in the nearby town. They are looking for the next wave of drones. A group of 30 drones is flying in a tight pack low to the sand. They look like a swarm of bugs on the screen. The lead F-15...
Jason Beatrice joining the chat saying, I am a man of my convictions. I never put position before principles like liberals do constantly.
F-15E fires.
Very smart approach.
4 AM-120 DARAM missiles one after the other. Each missile leaves the plane with a loud crack. 5 miles away, the drones start to blow up. Each AIM-12ODMRIM hits its mark.
Well, we got Waffle joining in on the chat. There you go. Buddy, tacos for all. What are you guys doing for Taco Tuesday? Or Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo is coming up, right?
The drones turn into balls of fire and bits of plastic, but for every 5 we shoot down, 10 more show up on the radar. This is a flood. To the west, a MIM-104
Angela says, I mean Latinx. Yeah, like Gavin. Like Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom never said the word Latinx. And then enter 8 video clips of him saying Latinx repeatedly.
Or Patriot battery joins in. A PAC-3 interceptor shoots off the launcher with a loud hiss. It's going after something much bigger, an Iranian Fateh 110 ballistic missile that is falling from space. They hit each other at 40,000 feet. The explosion is so big, it looks like
Brainy Mac is doing something for Cinco de Mayo.
the sun is coming up early. But as the pieces fall, the radar operators see something. The drones are changing direction. They are moving to stay away from our radar beams. They are finding the spots we can't see. The M142 HIMARS rockets hit the launch site 50 miles away. They turn the sand into a field of craters and twisted metal, but the damage to our base is already done. Hangar 4 is a pile of burning junk. The secret is out. We thought we were hiding in the dark, but the lights were on the whole time. The sky isn't ours anymore. How did they do it? That's what everyone is asking. For a long time, we thought the desert was too big for anyone to find us. We moved at night because we thought only our satellites could see in the dark. The enemy didn't build a new space program. They didn't launch their own giant rockets. They just used a credit card. They went to China and paid for access to a group of satellites called Jilin-1. Jilin-1 isn't just one satellite. It's a group of over 100 high-tech cameras circling the Earth. To the people in charge of Iranian missiles, the Middle East is...
Oyos Verdad, how you doing? Happy to see you. Welcome to the chat from San Juan, Puerto Rico. God bless you too.
Now a live, high-definition TV show. These satellites can see things smaller than a yard wide. Think about it this way. If you were standing in New York, it would be like being able to see a golf ball sitting on the grass in Washington, D.C. That's about 240 miles away. That is how clear these pictures are. China provides the eyes in space, and Iran provides the missiles on the ground. We are fighting an enemy that...
Chris J says, MAGA owns CNN since February. Keep up. What happened in February? What happened? Be good to know. Is there something that I missed?
That can see everything we do. That means the enemy doesn't have to be better than us. They just have to pay for the feed. We are living in a house made of glass, and the enemy is standing outside with a bag of rocks. We try to fight back with a trick. If we can't hide, we'll lie. We set up a ghost fleet. We put out dozens of fake tanks and launchers made of rubber and plastic. They look real from the ground. We even put heaters inside them so they look hot on a thermal camera. But the Chinese satellites aren't just taking photos. They have special sensors. The Jilin-1 knows the difference between real steel and rubber. It looks...
What? Real steel and rubber.
At the sand around the tanks. Real tanks are heavy and sink into the ground. Fake ones don't. The computer knows they are fakes in seconds. The Iranian commander doesn't shoot the balloons. Instead, he points his Zulfikar missiles at a patch of empty sand 15 miles away. That empty sand is where our real tanks are hidden under heavy camouflage nets. The Zulfikar missiles scream down from the sky at 3,500 miles per hour. They already have the exact location. 3 real tanks are blown apart before they can even start their engines. The rubber decoys are still standing there untouched. It's a slap in the face. We tried to trick them, but they saw right through it. We aren't just being watched, we are being studied. Most of us know what it feels like to feel safe at home. We think that when we close the curtains, the world can't see what we're doing. For the veterans who served in the 1980s or 90s, hiding was simple. You used a camo net and stayed off the radio. You did your job in the shadows and you were safe. But today, our kids and grandkids are serving in a world where there are no shadows. The sky itself is now a weapon. It's hard to think about knowing that just moving a truck or opening a hangar door can be seen from 300 miles away. It's a new kind of war, and it takes a new kind of brave to fight it. The nightmare moves from the sand to the ocean. In the Persian Gulf, one of our aircraft carriers is moving at 35 miles per hour. For 100 years, the carrier was a ghost. The ocean is so big that finding a ship was like finding a needle in a dark room the size of a football stadium. Not anymore. 600 miles away in the Iranian desert, a Khalij Fars anti-ship missile battery gets ready to fire. They have a direct link to a Jilin-1 satellite flying right over our carrier. The ocean, which...
And they know whether it's real or it's rubber. Real steel or rubber. How impressive is this technology? Just absolutely impressive. And it's only going to get better. Continuing to get better.
What used to be a place to hide is now as clear as a glass of water. The carrier is just a big target on a screen 1,000 miles away. The College Fars missile points up. The missile blasts out of the atmosphere in seconds. While it's high in the air, the satellite sends one more update. The carrier has turned a little bit to the left. The missile's computer changes its path. The hunter doesn't have to search for the...
All right, so we got this happening right now, which is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Huge, massive, right? And most people are missing what's actually happening here. Trump just sat down with top oil executives, Chevron CEO, top advisors, full White House room. And it's not just a meeting. It's basically, how do we survive this oil shock emergency huddle, right? I can translate this into real life for you. Gas prices are pushing over $4 a gallon again. Global oil supply is getting choked. And one tiny location, the Strait of Hormuz, controls a massive chunk of the world's oil flow, which means every time you fill your tank, you're basically paying for geopolitics. So the supply from the Middle East is getting disrupted. Prices are shooting up. And at the same time, U.S. oil companies are sitting there like, wait, this might actually be good for us, right? That's the weird part. It's opportunity plus danger at the same time. And let me say it like this. This is the only situation where you're losing money at the pump while someone in a boardroom is like, yeah, we might need another yacht. Go on and get another yacht, right? Can't have too many yachts. Can never have too many yachts. But here's where it gets serious. If prices stay too high long enough, people drive less, demand drops, global economy slows, and that's how you go from expensive gas to why is everything more expensive? Trump's team knows it, and that's why. They're talking domestic production, looking at Venezuela, adjusting shipping rules, trying anything to stabilize this thing because the truth, the White House allegedly has very limited control over global oil prices, and that's the game. So the real question for you, chat, is this A, smart strategy, B, unavoidable reality, or C, a situation getting out of control? Let me know in the chat. And if you want your take guaranteed on screen, super chats, jump the line. If you're in the inner circle, if you're a member, I'm pulling your comment first. And yeah, so this is the reason we go live every day. We don't just read headlines, we actually understand what they mean. And if you're seeing the value, hit like, subscribe, turn notifications on, because this story, it's not over. This is just the beginning of a much bigger shift.
The prey. The prey is being lit up by a giant flashlight in space. The carrier isn't the one doing the hunting anymore. It's the one being hunted. This is what the shadow contract was built for.
War is Peace says that new 737 isn't gonna buy itself, you know.
It's an attack
absolutely
designed to overwhelm our defenses. The attack starts with a wave of Zulfikar missiles.
We got Joni Mariska saying, see, it's out of control. My goodness. The Lord is in control, buddy. Don't you worry about a thing.
They fly into the upper atmosphere and fall toward our ships at 4,000 miles per hour. Right behind them are 50 Fateh 110 missiles. Their computers are getting live updates from the Chinese satellites. On the deck of one of our destroyers, we are firing every defensive missile we have as fast as the launchers can work. Our Arleigh Burke-class destroyers are firing in groups. SM-6 interceptors blast out of their cells every 2 seconds. The SM-6 leaves the ship at 3,000 miles per hour. It's looking for those incoming Zulfikar missiles. In the sky, it looks like the world's biggest fireworks show. Every time they hit, it's a kinetic kill. That means the metal hits metal so hard that the enemy missile just turns into a cloud of scrap. But here is the scary part, the cost. Each SM-6 costs about $4.3 million. We are using them to stop Fate 110 missiles that cost maybe $200,000. Or we're using them to stop drones that cost only $30,000. The Chinese satellites are watching this happen. They are counting our missiles. Only 10 feet above the water, they are trying to hide in the waves. The ship's computer picks them out. ARIM-162 ESSM missile shoots off with a loud hiss. It turns hard and hits the lead C-802. The explosion happens only 2 miles from the ship. Every time we fire an SM-6, we win the fight, but we move closer to losing the war. The enemy is throwing trash at us, and we have to use our best silver bullets to stop it. The satellites are waiting for the moment our ships are empty. Then the radar shows something else. 50 fast attack boats are coming from the Iranian coast. They are moving perfectly with the missile strikes. The satellite is telling them exactly what to do. It tells them when our radars are busy. It tells them which ship has a blind spot. The coordination is perfect. The worry is real. We are being squeezed from the sky and the sea at the same time. We can't just keep shooting down missiles. We will run out of ammo before they run out of trash. To survive, we have to stop fighting the missiles and start fighting the eye that is watching us. From the carrier deck, an EA-18G Growler jet takes off. It doesn't have bombs on its wings. It has big jamming pods. It points its sensors straight up into space. The pilot turns on the power, flooding the Chinese satellite's frequency with loud electronic noise. At the
Fake news or real? Because that is incredible technology.
Same time, on the deck of the destroyer and at secret spots on the shore, we turn on the dazzlers. These are high-power lasers. We aren't trying to blow up the Jilin-1 satellite. That would start a massive war with China. Instead, we are using a soft kill. The dazzler shoots a beam of light right into the satellite's camera lens. It's like someone pointing a bright flashlight in your eyes while you're trying to drive. From 300 miles up, the satellite's view of the Gulf goes from clear to pure white. It can't see anything. The shadow contract is cut off.
Debbie Cobb jumping in on the chat saying, seriously, anyone who believes Iran is winning is stupid to live. Fake propaganda. Thank you for jumping in on the chat, Debbie. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every day of 2026. Become a member. Throw in a super chat. I love you. The community loves you.
In a second. 600 miles away, the Iranian missile crews lose their signal. Their screens go.
Chris J says Iran won before it started. There we go. Challenge ideas, do not challenge people.
Go to static. In the air, the Fateh 110 missiles lose their updates. Without the eye in space, they don't know where the ship is anymore. They try to find the target on their own, but they aren't smart enough. The missiles start to wobble.
James Devlin's against war, naturally, probably. Says Double B, real name something Polish, demands U.S. boots on the ground do not be extinguished for another country.
They miss the carrier by miles and splash into the water. One Zulfikar missile with its computer fried by our jamming crashes into the empty sand far away from anything. The fast boats, now blind without the satellite to guide them, start running into each other. The Phalanx CIWS gun on our destroyer starts firing. It's a 20mm Gatling gun that sounds like a giant zipper being ripped open. It shreds the lead boats in seconds. Without the satellite to show them our blind spots, they are just sitting ducks. The sky, which was full of fire a minute ago, is now empty. The shadow contract was broken by a beam of light. We aren't just fighting with missiles anymore. We are fighting with the spectrum of light and radio waves. We feel a sense of relief, but we know it's not over. You can't keep a lens covered forever. Saved us today, but here's the question that should worry you. What if the next Chinese satellites don't need to talk to a command center on the ground? What if the satellite and the missile become one single machine? Imagine a future where the Jilin 1 group has edge computing. That means it has its own AI on board. The satellite sees our carrier, calculates the math, and talks directly to the missile while it's in the air. No human has to push a button. No radio signal for our EA-18G Growler to jam. If the eye and the fist become the same thing, do we have enough light to blind 1,000 eyes at once? What happens to our fleet when the ocean is no longer a place to hide but a stage where an AI in orbit sees every move we make? The war is changing.
Absolutely. War is completely changing. So wild. What do we have going on over here? Some more breaking news. A little bit more breaking news. Oh. LTGOV Pamela Evitt speaks with the media after participating in a televised GOP debate at the Sotil Theater in Charleston on Tuesday. Alrighty. What is this trending for? Just imagine graduating, you're thinking about your future, your family's proud, and now the group chat is like, are we protesting or are we taking pictures? What do you think, Dems? What do you think? Are we protesting or are we taking pictures? So this one's a little interesting. It's deeper than it looks. You've got a historically black university students getting ready to graduate. One of the biggest moments of their lives, and now there's backlash because the school is planning to bring in a Republican lieutenant governor candidate as the commencement speaker. Yeah, this is one of those stories. One of them. So this isn't really about one person. It's about who gets to represent a moment like graduation, right? And whose values are being reflected. And who decides that? Here's what's happening. Students found out that school plans to invite Pamela Evitt. There's already a petition with thousands of signatures. Student leaders are saying her political positions don't align with the school's culture. And at the same time, she's saying she's honored to be there and standing by her views. So you got one side saying this does not represent us, and the other side saying different viewpoints should be allowed. And it's colliding right at graduation. The real question, is graduation supposed to be a celebration of the student's identity and culture, or a platform for broader political or leadership voices? You can't fully have both without conflict, right? So if you want to jump in on the chat, you can sit on the fence if you want, but or you can, type A for students should decide the speaker. Type B if schools should invite whoever they want. Type C, there should be a balance. We can be real, right? No matter who they pick. Half the room's clapping, the other half is side-eyeing like, nah, not so good.
The shadow contract.
But that's life, and we're going live every single day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Oximus1 says C. Chris J says A. Waffle Jackson says B. We've got a mix. I love it, chat. I love a mix. It's the reason we love liberals and Republicans and centrists and everybody.
Is only the beginning.
Enix says students should decide. Students pay for it. Yeah, Yeah, they definitely do pay for it. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's a pretty important thing, right? It's their graduation. They've gone through all of this. 4 years or more, sometimes 2 years. Yeah. They should definitely have a voice and choose. Good point. Good point.
3:04 a.m., the Bering Strait. A Russian-Chinese convoy is tearing through the thin ice in the darkness, engines roaring as they speed beyond safe limits. On U.S. radar, the distance is closing by the second. Beep, 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 beep. A signal appears, then 3, then 7, and within seconds the screen transforms into a wall of targets hurtling straight toward them. Alarm sirens blast across the bridge, piercing and relentless. Distance 18 miles, 17, 16. No radio response, no change in course, no sign of slowing down. The Arctic is no longer a wilderness, it is a $1 trillion strategic treasure trove. Following Moscow's decree designating the Northern Sea route as internal waters, the Bering Strait has become a geopolitical powder keg. This is not an isolated incident. Moscow and Beijing have steadily expanded their military presence around Alaska, testing U.S. response and tightening pressure with each move. 3:07 a.m. Suddenly, U.S. radar picks up a steel wall. Leading the way is the Ivan Papanin, Russia's newest armed icebreaker equipped with cruise missiles. Escorted by Russian-Chinese destroyers, a dedicated reconnaissance ship hides in the electronic shadow of massive gas carriers, its antennas constantly gathering classified data.
Absolutely. The more ideas you get, the better it is for your life, honestly. You know, say for instance, I'm just like 100% an extremist liberal right now. And then someone somehow convinces me that being a Republican is much better. Like, what do I lose from changing myself from liberal to Republican other than learning that I was wrong before and now I'm right? Or vice versa, you know? Not to say any side is better, but yeah. New ideas are always great to look at, and try to be unbiased whenever you're looking at those ideas too. It's pretty important.
3:08 a.m. This fleet has no intention of evading. They're suddenly picking up speed. In these ice-choked waters, that speed is suicide unless it's a calculated move. The radio waves remain eerily silent. They are cutting straight through the bow of the U.S. task force, creating a collision vector just 90 seconds away. General quarters, general quarters. The alarm siren tore through the air of the U.S. task force. Inside the cockpit of an airplane, the pilot gripped the control stick tightly, his heart pounding against his chest. In the dimly lit sonar room, an operator whispers target, bearing 090, approaching at extreme speed. Every soul on board knows the truth. This is no longer a drill. Is this a catastrophic navigation error or a deliberate deadly trap? 3:10 a.m. The Pentagon's invisible net immediately tightened like a steel trap. Instead of relying solely on distant satellites, the U.S. task force activated an integrated multi-domain combat network right at the edge of the world. High-speed processors within the Combat Information Center began consolidating data from every
Dems. Thought on how Bernie Sanders convinced Democrats to oppose arming Israel? Is that a pretty wild story or not? You know, coming from Bernie Sanders especially. What do you think? Any words on that?
Every available sensor, from thermal and electronic to acoustic. In just a few seconds, the pitch-black expanse of the Bering Strait was transformed into a high-resolution, transparent digital battlefield. Every Russian movement was no longer a mystery. They became closely...
Leah, how you doing? Happy to have you in the chat. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Become a member. Throw in a super chat. I love you.
Tracked coordinates on the display screen. 3:12 a.m. At Eielson Air Force Base, the icy silence of the Alaskan tundra was shattered completely. The Arctic Edge exercise officially shifted from a drill to a high-stakes, real-world interception. Two F-35A Lightning IIs streaked off the runway, their F-135 engines blazing like two small suns in the polar night. Close behind was the Skywatcher, the E-2D Advanced Hawkeye. As they pierced the atmosphere at Mach 1.2, the sonic boom echoed across the ice fields, a stark warning to the Kremlin that America's gatekeepers had officially arrived. 3:15 a.m. inside the E-2D's cockpit, the mission commander activated the AN/.
Giant Tom 40 has joined the chat saying the big difference is Republicans don't want to help people as much as liberal do. Do you have data to back that up? What do you mean? What do you mean?
-APY.
Ilhan Omar is a member of the Democratic Party. $30 million to $100,000 a year. Is she helping? Is she helping? Bad example, bad example.
Y9 AESA radar. This was not merely a search, it was an interrogation of the sky.
Chris J says Bernie rocks. There we go.
Using high-energy UHF waves. In a single 8-second focused sweep, the radar pierced through Russia's thickest electronic
Macintosh, best man. How you doing, buddy?
Fog. The combat display glowed with deadly clarity. 150 miles away, a formation of Su-35's fighters was detected providing high-altitude escort for a large, slow and steady target, one that had just departed.
Critical 509 says they keep trying to extinguish POTUS Trump because everything he says is correct.
Anadir Air Base and was heading straight for the combat zone. Just seconds later, the algorithms began to piece things together. A troubling hypothesis gradually emerged on the screen that target wasn't coming to engage in aerial combat. It was coming to reshape what was unfolding beneath the surface of the sea. 3:17 a.m., the F-35s maintain absolute electronic silence, leveraging their stealth capabilities to become invisible ghosts on the enemy's radar screens. While the Russians see nothing, the F-35's APG-81 radar has locked onto every Russian pilot. Via the MADL data link, the F-35s share this God's eye view with the entire task force, creating a seamless fire control network. Feeling the crushing pressure from an invisible enemy, the Russian Su-35's pilots grow
We are meeting today to review the Pentagon's FY27 budget request. Each year, the budget presentation gives us the opportunity to take a hard look at the threats we face and our ability to deter and defeat them. It helps us decide on a level of investment that will actually secure our homeland and protect our interests across the globe. Here are the facts that underlie this year's budget request. We are confronting an unprecedented global threat environment with multiple adversaries working together to undermine our security.
We got Hegseth and Kane testify at the House hearing over $1.5 trillion budget request.
With drones, munitions, missile technology, and energy supplies. And China is leading the charge against us. As you can see from this graphic, 25 years ago, the PLA was just a defensive force with little ability to project power beyond their borders. Today, the PLA is a modernized military force capable of projecting power well into the Pacific. Their rapid military buildup has delivered thousands of new ships, subs, missiles, and space assets that severely challenge our ability to safeguard our national security interest in the Indo-Pacific. China continues.
Everybody, we are okay now because, according to Democracy Officer 022, this stream is being inspected by a Democracy Officer. Stand by. HELL Dava. Again, thank you for inspecting us. Happy to have you here, buddy. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, going live every single day of 2026. Become a member, throw in a super chat on the bottom left of your screen. You see a 0 out of 5, and that's where you can add a super chat.
Is to invest heavily in the PLA's military modernization, announcing another 7% increase in defense spending this year. As a result, they are spending more of their GDP on defense than we are. In fact, as you can see from this graphic, all of our adversaries are spending more of their GDP on defense than we are. Meanwhile, our defense spending as a percentage of GDP has been steadily falling since World War II. That yellow line that you see on the graph cutting across that bar represents 4 to 5% of GDP spending. History has shown that meeting or exceeding that level of investment ensures we can truly deter our adversaries. That's also the level of investment we're asking our allies to make. But for years, we've chosen not to make that same level of investment ourselves. Since World War II, defense spending has shrunk significantly as a percentage of federal outlays, as you can see from the red line on that chart. Nonetheless, non-defense spending, on the other hand, accounts for over 85%, and it's been increasing for that same period of time. This underinvestment in our defense has had very real consequences. Our defense industrial base, long the envy of the world, has atrophied significantly. We're no longer capable of manufacturing for our warfighters at scale or speed. Just look at shipbuilding. China builds 47% of the world's ships. The U.S. builds 0.1%. We build fewer ships than Croatia or the Netherlands. Our global...
Man, oh man. Gotta start building some ships. Goggins talking about who's gonna carry the boats. We gotta start building the boats.
Global munition stockpiles are low, and we lack the capacity to rapidly restock magazine depth. We have very little industrial capacity to mine, refine, or process critical minerals. As a result, many of our defense supply chains are reliant on the very adversaries we seek to deter. Beyond the impact to our industrial base, the inadequate investment in our defense has resulted in a vicious cycle that has pitted sustainment against modernization. For years, administration after administration comes to this committee with budgets asking us to decommission weapon systems that they admit we still need, or to cut funding for training, parts, and supplies, or to put off needed maintenance.
Danielle Ong jumping in on the chat saying, Minnesota blew $19 billion on illegal immigrants and the Somali community that are dependent on government benefits. Over $9 billion of that went to Somalia, which funds their warlords that extinguish Christians. No help to citizens. What a sad, sad story. I wish you were wrong, Danielle. Oh my gosh. But the Lord knows. The Lord is in control. I love you. The Lord loves you. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every day at 2026. Throw in a super chat if you want.
To the facilities where our service members live and work, or to reduce the number of military personnel.
Mojave Red says, I don't want ships, I want health care for Americans. Not a bad idea, buddy. Not a bad idea.
These budgets have asked us to make these sacrifices and accept the near-term risk so we could afford to reinvest in military modernization, which is something we desperately need to do.
Jason Beatrice jumping in on the chat saying, liberals actually believe we can have free ghetto health care for all and illegals running amok while we defund police. Oh yeah, let's fill our schools with woke literature. Sounds horrible, Jason. Sounds extremely horrible. Hopefully that does not happen. My goodness.
But we in Congress consistently rejected this mutually exclusive choice. Instead, we divided up the limited budget we were given and made a worse choice. We underfunded both sustainment and modernization. The result is we don't have enough munitions, ships, aircraft, or autonomous systems to ensure
Real Hillbilly says choices have consequences, 100%.
dominance against every adversary. And the ships and aircraft we do have suffer from unacceptably...
Waffle Jackson jumping in on the chat, saying Minnesota is the capital of Somalia, Jason. How do you not know this, Jason? Come on, man.
low mission-capable rates. Fortunately, that's about to change. This president has requested a historic $1.5 trillion budget for our national defense. For the first time in over 40 years, we've been presented a budget that accounts for the true cost of American deterrence. This budget fully funds both sustainment and modernization. It provides a 24% increase in operation and maintenance, including a 20% increase in core readiness programs like flight hours and combat exercises. It includes a 115% increase in funding to repair and improve facilities for our service members and their families. It increases military end strength by 44,000 and provides for a historic pay raise for our service members. It calls for an unprecedented 76% increase in procurement and 64% increase in research and development. This will enable us to truly catch up in our modernization efforts by quickly fielding new munitions, aircraft, ships, land, space, and autonomous systems to replenish and expand our arsenal. It directly confronts the challenges in our defense industrial base with over $100 billion in investments to revitalize manufacturing, expand domestic and allied critical minerals projects, and secure our supply chains. Finally, this level of investment gets defense back to 4.5%. That's where we need to be. We want to truly deter conflict. It also ensures that America leads by example as our allies heed the president's call to increase their defense spending and improve their military readiness. I would also note that it's critical that we do not reduce deterrence while we're asking our allies to ramp up their own capacity. And that's something we're going to be paying a lot of attention to in this committee. Before I close my remarks, I want to highlight the bravery, dedication, and professionalism of our warfighters throughout this conflict with Iran.
There you go. Support them.
Because we have nobody coming through our border. I mean, literally for 9 months, it's zero. It's hard to believe that that number can be possible because millions of people came in through Biden. But nobody even tries. We don't have the caravans of thousands, 25, 30,000 people pouring into our border. They come up in caravans. We don't have caravans anymore. There's no such thing anymore. There's a name that I think I developed, but somebody developed it, but I think it was me. I thought it was an appropriate name. Thousands of people would come up and just barge into our country, totally unchecked, totally unvetted. And this man came in, Dan, right? And he came in through the ridiculous open border of Biden. If we were there, the election was rigged, what are you going to do? Came back, big comeback. But if we were there, we wouldn't have had people coming through. It's amazing. You know, it's so easy now because everyone knows they're not getting through. We don't have any caravans. Once they know that, when it was easy to come through. When I heard that they had an open border policy, I said, boy, this is going to be, I couldn't believe it. But when it was actually, you know, it dawned on me because I had built 1,000 miles of wall and we were finishing up some and he didn't want to finish it up. I said, they really do want to have an open border. And we got it finished. But that young lady would be alive today. And she'd be alive for another reason.
Is De Niro actually in Island Man Files? Is that the reason he was so vocal about certain people?
I never want to take him out of D.C. I mean, maybe somebody later on will do it, but I never want to take. You know, the people, they look, they say, we feel so good, we feel so safe. We see these beautiful, strong people, and they're so nice.
This one, Waffle. This one. Are you serious? Mr. De Niro speaking out against Donald Trump at a No Kings event.
Everyone. It's nice to share this event with so many committed people here in this room and out in the streets. And I'm proud to stand with an Indivisible and all the organizations promoting No Kings. The concept of No Kings is a great rallying cry and hugely successful as millions of us have answered the call.
But like someone mentioned in the chat, how many of these people that went to the No Kings protest stood up for the king of UK?
I support this movement 150%. Yeah. But when the crowds are chanting "No kings," what I'm really hearing, as we all know, is "No Trump."
That's right.
There have been other presidents who have tested the constitutional limits of their power, but none have been such an existential threat to our freedoms and security. None, except Trump. He must be stopped.
How? How? What is he doing? What is Trump actually doing?
And he must be stopped now. Amen. It's time to say no to kings. It's time to say no to Donald Trump. We've had enough. No King Trump. No unnecessary wars that rob our resources, sacrifice our brave servicemen and women, and slaughter innocents. No corrupt leader enriching.
Jason says, I threw up when he cried on TV. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Himself and the Epstein class buddies. No taking away health care from our most vulnerable neighbors. No unaffordable groceries. No unaffordable energy. No.
Yeah, Mojave Red. Mojave Red says, when are we getting all the cheap gas? And no forever wars. Absolutely, man.
Unaffordable housing and no inflation at its highest level since COVID.
We got Mr. Good Citizen saying, Hollywood, sit down and shut up. Oh, Robert De Niro is an actor. Do you think he's acting right now? Is he getting paid for this?
No government masked thugs shooting down our neighbors in the streets. Trump has to be stopped. And that's what No Kings is all about. Because he can't do all the fucked up things that he's been doing without the collusion of Congress and the goons in his administration. They're bound to him by fear of losing their own jobs, their own power. It's diabolical. How can this be happening? Look at the power of the No Kings national uprising. Look at the power of the No Kings national uprising. Afraid of Trump?
Joey Llama has joined the chat. I can't really say what he said, but that's funny. But Robert De Niro has so much love. He even has one of those buttons that says "I love New York" on his jacket.
Please. No, they should be more afraid of us.
Yeah. Right.
Because
they shouldn't be more afraid of you? You? Are you making threats, Mr. De Niro?
we still believe in the core American values of justice, equality, decency, and kindness.
Justice, equality, and decency and kindness. Kindness, I don't know about that. We just saw that with that big, obese woman attacking the naturally sized woman with her words. And equality? You want men to compete in women's sports. Where's the equality there? Come on.
Because we're going from the streets to the ballot box, and because we all deserve a country with no kings.
There you go. Deserve one with no kings. Real Hillbilly says, not his speech. He never seen that speech before. He's getting paid after the speech, man. So you're getting your money for saying all these things after you're done with it. Belize 7908 says, why does he hate Trump like this? Who is he doing it for? Himself. Yeah, absolutely. Great question. Would love to know the real reason. Like, if we can get some of that data of like the real reason he's making these speeches, it'd just be great. Wars Pieces. I dislike Trump as well, but Bobby D has turned into a complete nut job himself. Yeah. Oh, we gotta show some respect to the servicemen. We got Dan Storm 3 saying, oh please, as if you guys care about our servicemen as you ignore the 608 Americans who were extinguished by Iran in Iraq, and you want us to forget and do nothing. May their souls rest in peace. And it would be much better if zero servicemen were extinguished.
No Trump. Thank you.
Yeah. That's what he does.
Americans have turned out
That is
all over the country.
exactly what he does.
No, it's not in the budget. Insulation costs $5. Now you're going to hear the guy next door. If he's next door to me, I'll be able to hear his military plan. I'll know exactly. If Lutnick is in there, I'll say, oh, I know exactly what Lutnick's got planned. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. They've ripped this gorgeous building apart, and you can never build it again. I could, but it's...
Oximus One says, you failed the auditions. It's so funny. The dog is laughing, man. Dude. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every day at 2026. Throw in a super chat. Become a member. Join the channel.
A building that may never be occupied by Kevin Warsh. He may never get there. We're going to have to find him some space in the White House. We'll put him in the basement of the ballroom. But when, now think of it, when Jeanine Pirro and Pam in the group, when they bring a suit, it's like, oh, this terrible thing. And then we have a judge that attacks us. So we've got to get our priorities straight, you know. It's a very sad thing that's happened with the Fed. And then just one other thing very quickly, you have Gavin Newsom in California Railroad. That's 100 times over budget. It's out of control. It was supposed to go from the middle of San Francisco to the middle of LA. Well, now it stops way short of both. It now goes into areas that nobody ever heard of. It's billions and billions of dollars over budget. Years and years.
Democrats in the fraud squad. Typed by Jason Beatrice. Just dropping those jokes.
Be decades late. And that's why we have a country that has a lot of problems, you know. We have incompetent people. It's all people. Think of this, Federal Reserve, I would have had that building done for $25 million. I would have, if I did it, it was up to, somebody else would have done it for more. So maybe 50. But you could have done that building, if it was properly done and planned, you would have done that building for, I would have done it for $25 million, and it would be better. It would be better. See this pen right here? This pen is an interesting example. It's the same thing. So this pen is very inexpensive, but it writes well. I like it. But I can't have the pen the way it was. You know what it is. I don't want to give too much publicity, but they do treat me well. Sharpie. So I came here. They have $1,000 pens. And you know, you hand pens out. You're signing and you hand them out. You're handing them to all these people. Sometimes you have 30, 40 people. And they were $1,000 a piece. Beautiful pen, ballpoint.
$1,000 a piece. $1,000 a piece.
They're tremendous work.
But see, even there, he's giving a shout out to Sharpie. He's just a a businessman. Do you think Biden would ever do that? Like, kind of just create that little boost in business, you know? Like, I think that a lot of people see Trump and see the bad, negative things that he's doing, but do they also see the good things that he's doing? It's a good question to consider, right?
Work to achieve the very clear military objectives of this operation has given the president the opening he needs to negotiate a true and lasting peace that will ensure Iran never acquires a nuclear weapon. Mr. Secretary, General Kane, thank you for being here. I look forward to hearing how this budget request will ensure our military can preserve American deterrence for generations to come. And with that, I yield to my friend, the ranking member, for his opening statement.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate those opening remarks. I want to start by agreeing with you on the last point. Our troops have performed incredibly well in the last 15 months. They have been asked to do more than anyone expected, and they have demonstrated the incredible capability of the United States military. I think we should all recognize that. Even if we question the strategy, some of the decisions behind it, our troops deserve nothing but our praise for the incredible job that they have done. It has not been perfect. Certainly mistakes have been made, but we have demonstrated to the world that we have a highly capable military. And I hear the chairman on the need for an increased budget. I think there's a whole lot of needs across the United States of America that would have the same attitude about health care, about education, about...
So allegedly Pete Hegseth is going to turn off the microphone on this
arrest. But as the commander-in-chief, it's the most important role he has, and therefore you're the department where you take the most direct guidance from the president. Everyone in the department has to support the president's decisions once those decisions are made, correct?
Correct, Senator. As I've said, there's only one person that was elected president of the United States.
Yeah.
And the American people elected him to make these decisions on their behalf. And if and when those decisions are made, the department is prepared to execute.
And I know that you welcome and have robust policy debates in the department, and no doubt you have very differing views on many questions, whether it's what to do with Iran or what kind of aircraft.
Ronnie says PH is a demon.
Or ships we need to build, or what the quality of commissaries are on our bases, and that's welcome. You need that kind of robust debate to make the right recommendations. But once the president's decision has been made on any question, that's final, right? That's your standard?
The president welcomes, I've watched it in real time, views on all issues from all aspects. But yes, once those have been represented, intelligence is represented, options represented, upsides, downsides, threats, of course, when the president makes a call as the commander-in-chief, we will execute.
Well, thank you, because I know there was some controversy earlier this year inside the department, and not everyone seemed to be on the same page that you and the president are after presidential decisions had been made, and you had to make some tough decisions there. And I commend you for those decisions. I think you did the right thing. You have to make sure that everyone stays on the same page and everyone supports presidential decisions. One decision I also want to call out, since we haven't spoken about it here, and I'm not sure we will, I want to commend you for as well and commend your team, is...
If you guys see a Restream bot, after you see Restream bot, there's an @ sign. So like now you just see @BardClay on one side, then on the other side you see @Waffle Jackson. So those are the people who are talking, because we have a vertical and a horizontal stream, so everyone can talk together. And make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. We're going live every day at 2026, and throw in some super chats. Become a member.
Those bases to the names that so many generations of soldiers served at for new American heroes. Is that right?
Yes, all of the previous names for the U.S. Army installations have been returned.
Well, thank you. I think that was an inspired approach. It complies with the law. It teaches a new generation of soldiers about those who went before them, and I hope the matter is settled. I especially want to commend you for Fort Gordon, named after Gary Gordon, one of two Delta operators along with Randy Shugart, who willingly laid down their life in the Battle of Mogadishu to protect their buddies, not even in the battle at the time, and against commanders' repeated wishes until they pestered the commanders finally to let them get on the ground and protect those soldiers on the ground and laid down their life. I think that was an inspired choice. One final question. You'd said that everything needs to be on the table to address our munitions crisis. We all agree on this committee. We all have been working hard for many years on that. Private industry is very important, but you have your own organic industrial base. Ammunition plants, arsenals, depots, that's included in everything, right? That we need to look at every possible source to address every potential choke point in our munition supply chain.
Every possible source.
Thank you. General Kane, you agree with that, I presume, that our organic industrial base, especially the arsenals and ammunition plants and depots, are a solution to this problem, not a part of the problem or a relic of the past?
I do, sir, and I'm aware of your letter to the Army on that matter, which I know they're looking at.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Senator Cotton. Senator Gillibrand.
Secretary Hegseth, this committee has had many hearings about the future of warfare and making sure that we have the complement of warfighters that we need to win any future wars and not focus on how we could have done better in the previous war. One of the areas where I have deep concern is cyber defense in this country. I'm concerned about cyber warfare. I'm concerned about cyber terrorism. I'm also concerned about the deployment of UAS, as we've seen being extremely powerful in the war in Ukraine. We've seen what Iran has done. So I'm concerned about our posture with regard to UAS and a defensive posture with regard to UAS attacks. I am very concerned about what happened over many of our military sites. Drone configurations hovering for weeks without response. No authorities to be able to track where those drones came from by the DoD to assess, are they Iranian, are they Chinese, are they Russian, are they on spy missions, what is their purpose? Inadequate authorities, inadequate defenses, inadequate technology. The Langley incursion is incomprehensible. On top of that, I'm very concerned that we are not investing in our cyber professionals, that we don't have enough cyber offense, enough cyber defense. We have currently 30,000.
What is this woman talking about? There's a thing called OpenAI. Founded in 2015 in San Francisco, California, remains headquartered there. We have Palantir, an American software company, while it was founded in 2003 in Palo Alto, California. Then moves its headquarters to Denver, Colorado in 2020. And more recent reports also indicate a move of its primary headquarters to Miami, Florida. There you go, from California to Colorado to Florida. Come on, lady, give me some facts.
OPEC supported in the last two NDAAs, which is a cyber academy to create a pipeline of young people who do cyber for service. So they get a state-of-the-art cyber education at over 600 schools around the country, and then they dedicate the number of years they had education to the Department of Defense or the intelligence community. And right now it is not being funded. And right now, because of the hiring freeze, these kids who've completed their degree under the Cyber Service Academy actually can't get a job at the DoD or the intelligence community.
She hyping up these universities? What is this woman doing? My goodness. My goodness. Let's go, Mrs. Gillibrand. Let's go, let's go. Oh, Teddy Tears jumping in the chat. USA, the literal laughingstock of the world. I disagree. But everyone is allowed to their own opinion. So we're going live every single day of 2026. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, and I will see you soon. I want to let you know that the Lord loves you. I love you. And if these people are saying too much, drinking too much of that haterade, just let it not stick to you. Let it roll off of your back like water rolls off of a duck's back. Right? Don't let that stuff affect you. And try not to make any of those ad hominem arguments, you know. Try to be respectful to the people. Communicate. Argue ideas. Don't argue with the people. All right, y'all. I love you.